We're live on Facebook. Oh no! We're going to be live on the radio. Mighty Max is here. He's here. We're going to be talking to him. Standing by to broadcast. At 105.7 The Hawk, classic rock for the Jersey Shore. Tom Cunningham and the Bruce Brunch radio program. We always love having live guests. We always love having the illustrious E Street Band on the show, and we love having Max Weinberg back on the program. Max, good morning.
Good morning, Tom. It's good to be with you and everybody out there listening to Bruce Brunch.
It's what a beautiful. It's been an awesome weekend here at the Jersey Shore, and so you're in the mix on some spectacular weather. You played Philadelphia last night. How was that World Cafe Live show?
Well, it's going fantastic. It was a great show at the World Cafe Live. I'm playing at the City Winery in Boston tonight with my Jukebox. You know, Tom, we talked about it. This is the band where the audience picks the songs. So it really is a human jukebox. And as you mentioned, we're playing at the Stone Pony next Friday night, the 31st. It's the kickoff to the Labor Day weekend.
It's wild that it's the end of August already. This summer has just flown by. You were here earlier in the summer, so it's kind of apropos that you closed the summer down a little bit. The last time I saw you was at Little Steven's show in December, and what an incredible thing he had going on. That the vibe was just so special in that room. What's it like for you to watch Steve and 900 people make all that beautiful noise up there?
Well, 900 people in the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, fantastic that Steve wants to continue the tradition of the great soul, rhythm, and blues bands with 15, 16, 17 people on stage. A real review. It was incredible. Of course, that's no secret to anybody who's listened to his work over the last 40 years or so, but it was quite enjoyable. I'd seen him a couple times when he first debuted the band, and there's nothing like taking a band on the road to get a band tight, to get a show tight. This will be I think tonight will be our 86th show in about 12 months. So I've been doing a lot of road work.
Yeah. Max Weinberg's Jukebox, it's not always the same musicians who play with you.
It's mostly the same musicians. Occasionally, we all have different responsibilities and commitments, but I'd say 95% of the musicians that I play with are the three guys, you know them well, from the Weaklings, Weeklings, who are just fantastic. Yeah. And their drummer, Smokestack, allows me to borrow them. And as I said, we've done probably with that band about 80 shows. Bob Berger, Glenn Burtnick, and John Rajavi. And it's you know, you pay that much, and it gets really, really tight. Yeah. So I'm having a ball.
Excellent. You're so engaged during the show. You're out in the audience. You're fishing for songs. You're engaging people. What's that like for you?
Well, it's work. You know, you're the front guy. Playing with Bruce and the E Street Band is like a vacation. All I have to do is play the drums and watch Bruce, which is what I do when I play with the E Street Band. But this is fun. This is it gives me a chance to exercise some of the chops I developed on TV, on the late night programs. I'm playing the songs, ironically enough, that I played 50 years ago in some cases. Right. And you know, at the end of the night, people come up, as they did last night in Philadelphia, and say, you know, this is the soundtrack to our lives. And it's really true. You play the songs, whether it's the Beatles, the Stones, Jimi Hendrix, Steppenwolf, Sam and Dave. We cover the gamut, quite a bit of Bruce sprinkled in there. If you play this music with respect, because, of course, it's been played at weddings and bar mitzvahs for 50, 55 years. But if you approach it as the great little compositions that they are, you play it with respect and honor the fact that this was the golden age of rock and roll, it comes off quite differently. And that's what I enjoy about it. You know, if I play a Beatles song, I can put my myself in the space of Ringo. I'm no Ringo Starr, but I can put myself in that space. Same thing with Charlie Watts or Levon Helm, or, you know.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. Like Keith Moon, when you're playing a Who song, are you channeling your inner Keith Moon?
I'm certainly channeling my inner Keith Moon. I saw the Who in their debut performance in April of 1967. It was at a Murray the K show at the 86th Street Lowe's Theater in New York. And there were a number of groups. Wilson Pickett was the headliner at that show. Wow. All I could think of, I was 16 I was, all I could think of was there's that beautiful drum set being trashed. And I didn't know what to make of it. The type of drumming I went for in those days, particularly then, was Stax, soul music. And I had, as a young kid, played in a lot of soul bands, and that was the direction I was going in, three-piece sharkskin suit, rather than the flamboyance of the Who. I came to obviously love Keith Moon's antics and his drumming, of course, just one of the giants. So if I play I Can See for Miles or The Kids Are All Right or Substitute, we do a bunch of songs. I put myself in that headspace. As a matter of fact, when we were recording the songs that became The River, there were a bunch of outtakes, and some of them have come out, and it was during a period in the studio where Bruce and Steve were really encouraging me to play like Keith Moon, which is actually kind of rare to do to somebody in the studio, to encourage them to play like Keith Moon. Most producers are trying to get the drummers to not play so much. But there's songs like Living on the Edge of the World, Mary Lou, which was the original sort of music for what became the song Be True. That's pure Keith Moon, or at least me doing my imitation of Keith Moon.
You were close to DJ Fontana, a drummer who played obviously with Elvis Presley, passed in June. Are there there's Elvis is in your jukebox. Do you get
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't play rock and roll without playing some Elvis songs. And DJ Fontana was my dear friend. I saw him 2 weeks before he passed down in Nashville, where my son Jay lives, and we went over to hang out and watch Westerns on TV. He loved watching Westerns. He was a lovely individual, and he wasn't just a drummer with Elvis. He was the drummer. He was the quintessential rock and roll drummer. Played with Elvis, mostly drums from 1954 till Elvis went in the Army, but he made records with Elvis until the late 60s. Even if he was just there to play tambourine, they remained very, very close friends. And when I had the pleasure of inducting DJ into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think the first 5 minutes of my remarks was devoted to just a litany of the songs he had played on. And if he had only played on Jailhouse Rock, he would have been deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. But sweet, lovely guy, remembers when, there was a quartet and the singer happened to be Elvis Presley.
Love it. Max Weinberg with us this morning here on the Bruce Brunch at 105.7 The Hawk. One of the things I love most about Max Weinberg's jukebox experience is that people see you in stadiums, big arenas. Here, you feel the real force of Mighty Max, being mighty on that drum kit with the same intensity, at the Stone Pony as you're getting at MetLife Stadium. And I love the fact that people get to experience that.
Oh, it's up close, for sure. I guess the biggest place we played was out in Indiana, Lincoln Amphitheater. It was about 1,600 people. That's the biggest I can play in, and it is a very intimate experience. I go out into the audience. I take requests personally. If you call your friends on your cell phone, I'll ask them what they want to hear. Fortunately, the places I play, generally places like the Stone Pony next Friday night, the 31st, World Cafe last night, they're adult beverage establishments. And this goes a long way to making the music sound really good. I encourage people to imbibe responsibly, but to enjoy themselves, have a good time. Because this isn't a concert, Tom. This is a party.
Yeah. And this weekend is going to be a Labor Day weekend party.
It's the kickoff to the Labor Day weekend, so you never know what's going to happen at the Stone Pony. You know, and I can attest to that because I met my wife at the Stone Pony 41 years ago.
It's another Jersey Shore love story. You mentioned your son Jay here a couple of minutes ago. I solicited questions on Facebook. I went 21st century on you today, and here's a lot of great questions. And this one comes from the Divines in Marlton, New Jersey, down in South Jersey. They saw Jay play at one of the shows in Philadelphia, and the question is, what was it like for you to see Jay in that drum seat behind Bruce and with the E Street Band?
Oh, it was an incredible feeling for me, my entire family. The first time he did that was at Giant Stadium in '08, and unbeknownst to me, he was about to play Born to Run, and he absolutely nailed it. He was 17 years old. He'd only been playing for 2 years at the time. He played hockey since the time he was a little kid. He was a goalie, and being a hockey goalie is similar to being a drummer. You're kind of the last line of defense. You can't let that puck go by, and you can't drop a beat. And he did marvelously well, and when it came time to we had a scheduling conflict because I was about to go to the West Coast to do the Tonight Show, and the Working on a Dream tour was coming up. So we had a bit of a scheduling conflict, and it was Bruce's idea. As many people listening to Bruce Brunch probably know, it was his idea to get Jay, and asked him himself, and then he came into rehearsal, Bruce did, for the Super Bowl, the week before the Super Bowl in 2009. He handed me a piece of scratch paper with 200 songs on it. He said, Max, give this to Jay, pass it along to Jay, and just tell him to get started. And he did an incredible job. He started out playing a few songs at the end, and he played a few songs in the beginning, and over a period of about 5 weeks, he ended up playing the entire show. You know, it's a mixed blessing to, A, recognize that you could be replaced, and then on the other side, have your son replace you. So I should say that it's in my heritage, it's a thing called nachis, which is pride, just overflowing pride. And not just the fact that my son was doing it, but the fact that he did it so well. I think the Guinness Book of Records at the time had in there the largest age difference, current largest age difference between band members, with Jay Weinberg and Clarence Clemens. And, you know, that was something that, yeah, it was pretty incredible. But when you're on stage with Bruce Springsteen, doesn't matter if you're 65 or 17, you got to bring the goods, and Jay did.
That's awesome. Gail Archer Divine, Marlton, New Jersey. Excellent question. Thank you, Gail, for being part of the magic here on the Bruce Brunch this morning at 105.7 The Hawk. Let's play this guy right now. A release that I have loved ever since Hard Ticket Entertainment showed up back in the early 90s. Max Weinberg and Friends, and the version of Summer on Signal Hill, Bruce's surf instrumental. So much going on this song.
Well, I believe Bruce wrote that as a solo feature for Clarence, and Clarence recorded it with his Red Bank Rockers. I always loved the song, and I heard it as almost a combination of the big Duane Eddy guitar and, if you can believe it, Percy Faith, a theme from A Summer Place. And so I took it a little bit in a different direction, and it was a benefit for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Monmouth County, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great people on it. Bob Clearmountain mixed it so you could seriously hear every single part. And it's, I guess, you've got a CD in an actual case.
I do.
It's a collector's item.
You know me, I have everything, much to my wife's great dismay.
Well, we rehearsed this song during the rehearsals for what became the Tunnel of Love tour.
Oh, wow.
And we were going to open the show with that song. We had a whole rehearsal thing going of playing Summer on Signal Hill, which I thought would have been a great opener.
Darn right. Well, let's hear it now. We'll talk about who's on this thing when we get back with Max Weinberg here on the Bruce Brunch at 105.7 The Hawk.